Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this orientation session for the APM, the Advanced Performance Management for the March 2022 attempt. My name is Luqman Rafiq and I am the tutor for this course APM. Let me give you a bit of a brief background about myself and my linkage with the APM. So it's been more than 13 years that I've been in teaching profession. And for 11 years of my teaching profession, for my teaching career, I have taught this paper. I've taught this paper with respect to my teaching of this paper in Pakistan. I've actually taught the highest number of students because there used to be, when I used to teach these papers physically, I used to teach the highest number of students across the whole country. Plus, in addition to this, I have Alhamdulillah been given the responsibility by the ACCA on the last 3 occasions when the APM webinars were conducted to conduct these APM webinars, and I have Alhamdulillah successfully conducted those webinars. It's one of those papers that actually comes from inside. It's something, myself being an entrepreneur, it's something that comes from inside, from within myself. So I personally think that this is one of the best papers that this is one of the papers that I handle the best and I teach the best. That is what I personally think about myself when it comes to dealing with the advanced performance management. So what I'll do is that I'm just going to start off with this advanced performance management. And the initial thing, I'll go through the syllabus. I'll give you a bit of an idea that what exactly is this syllabus all about and what are the things that are examinable with respect to it. So I'm actually going to be talking about it. Uh, but and at the same time, what is the approach that we shall be adopting in order to attempt this paper, in order to study this paper. So that is all something that's going to be covered up. Now, let me just start off. Let me give you a bit of an idea. The first and the foremost important thing is to be able to understand the concept of performance management. I repeat, the first and the foremost thing is to be able to understand the concept of performance management, that what exactly is performance management all about. So I'll help you understand what a performance management is all about. Let's just try to understand that when it comes to the performance management, just think of yourself running a business. Just think of yourself running a business. So when you are actually running a business, so almost every single aspect of the business has to be taken care of, whether that be the procurement of material, whether that be the production, whether that be the sales department, be the marketing department, be the finance function, the customers, suppliers, the human resource, the IT, the research and development, lenders who are actually providing the money to the business, the shareholders or the investors. So every single person who has, when you are running a business, you got to be concerned about the multiple aspects of the business. And when it comes to the multiple aspects of the business, we actually make sure that our procurement of the good is cheap, is at competitive prices, is of high quality. So I repeat, we make sure that it is at a good price. We make sure that it is of a proper quality. Then we move forward. If I move a bit forward, so I'll talk about the production. We just make sure that when we produce the goods are produced which are of the best quality. They are without the defects. That is something that we should try to do. The sales team works in the best possible manner to enhance the sale. The marketing does its best to create the awareness. The marketing does its best to create the awareness. You've got the finance function, whatever it is, whether that be raising the finance, whether that be managing the working capital, whether that be meeting the existing needs of the business. Almost every single thing is something that the finance department is going to cover. So generally what happens is that as a business, what we need to do is we need to look after every single aspect of the business. And once every single aspect of the business is properly looked after, then what actually happens is that once we have properly looked after every single aspect of the business, so resultingly what happens next, I repeat, resultingly what happens next is that you will be able to achieve the objectives and you will be able to achieve the goals of the business. So when it comes to the performance management, let me repeat, when it comes to the performance management, you got to make sure and you got to understand that it's actually ensuring that the organization is able to, I repeat, it's just that you got to make sure that the organization is able to achieve its objectives. The organization is able to achieve its goals. That is what performance management is all about. And for this to actually happen, what we actually discuss in this advanced performance management is we discuss how to manage the HR of the business. We discuss how the organization's reward system should operate. We discuss the relationship, the way it should be managed with the supplier, the way it should be managed with the customer, the way it should be managed with the government and the other key stakeholders. We do learn that how to bring the excellence in the product quality. We do learn that, we do learn that how to bring the excellence in the production. We do learn that how to improve the product quality, etc., etc., etc. So there are multiple things that actually happen. And this advanced performance management is one of those syllabus that covers almost everything. The advanced performance management is something that covers almost everything. So when we would be discussing the advanced performance management, what we will be doing is that we'll be going through every single aspect. There are going to be multiple things that we will be covering. So if I could just take you through bit of the syllabus and the syllabus areas, so you would have a bit of an idea that what I am talking about. If you could see that what are the things that are actually in here with respect to the performance management, you would see that these are what the syllabus areas are. I repeat, these are what the syllabus areas are. Now, what are these syllabus areas? Let's try to understand. These syllabus areas are about number one is the strategic planning and control. So at the top level of the organization, the way you plan things, the way the top management control the performance, the way top management monitors the performance. So that is what the strategic planning and the control is going to be. I repeat, the strategic planning and the strategic control is going to be, this is this is what it is, the way the top management is going to think about the business, the way it is going to align the objectives, align the goals of the organization, just to make sure that it is able to achieve the vision. So that is something what is going to be here. Then what happens is that there is a risk and the uncertainty that the organization faces. The risk and the uncertainty that the organization faces with respect to the operations. So we would see how the risks are incorporated in your decision making. We would see how the uncertainty is incorporated in your decision making. So that is also something, the different type of techniques that we'll be going through. Furthermore, there are multiple developments with respect to the IT. I repeat, there are multiple developments with respect to the IT, so we'll be discussing them and we'll be seeing that how these developments are going to help us with the performance management. And lastly, there's going to be the strategic performance measurement, which is going to be the way the performance is going to be measured using the non-financial aspects. So way the performance is going to be measured using financial aspects, using non-financial aspects, that is something that would be covered. So basically you start from the top where you plan for the organization, where you plan for the long run. And once you have planned for the long run, then what happens is that you incorporate the risk, you incorporate the uncertainty in your decision making. And at the same time, you incorporate that how the IT, how the information technology and the developments are going to have an impact on your business. And after that, what actually happens is that, I repeat, after that, what actually happens is that there are multiple methods of measurement of the performance, include the financial performance indicators, including the non-financial performance indicators. So we are going to be discussing all of them. And the last aspect that we shall be discussing, I repeat, the last aspect that we shall be discussing is about the performance evaluation and the corporate failure. I repeat, is about the performance evaluation and the corporate failure. Now, what exactly do you mean by the performance evaluation and the corporate failure? So let's just try to understand a bit. Now let's move a bit forward. So this corporate failure actually means that the organization has failed. Now, a failure of the organization does not always mean that the organization has become bankrupt. But when it comes to the failure would actually mean that the organization has actually failed to achieve its long-term goals, that the organization has failed to achieve its long-term objectives. That is what the failure actually means. So what we will be discussing and what we would be talking about is that we would be discussing this thing, that how we can actually prevent an organization from heading towards a failure. How could we ensure that the organization does not fail? How could we identify in advance that the organization is heading towards failure? How could we actually take an action to prevent that organization from heading towards the failure? So that is all something that we would inshallah be discussing. So basically, from the perspective of this paper, APM, you got to think of yourself again as somebody who is leading the show of a business, who is running the show of a business. You are a top level management. You are a key personnel of the organization who is setting the direction of the business, who is setting the strategy for the business, who is letting the business know that what is it that you need to do in the long term. So that is what you are actually telling them. And then at the same time, you're making sure you're making sure that you are measuring the performance in an appropriate manner, just to make sure that you encourage people to perform, to actually achieve the goals and the objectives which are ultimately going to lead an organization towards the achievement of its vision. Now, there's a huge there's a huge list of things that we could actually discuss with respect to the syllabus. I'm not going to be getting into them right now because I've just given you a bit of an idea that what exactly is it. But what I will do is that I will tell you, I'll take you through this web portal of Scriber Academy, on which this course of APM is listed. And I'm going to give you a bit of a guidance that you could see. The way we deliver the course is, once you enroll with us, you get access to these pre-recorded lectures, and under each section there are multiple past examination questions which are being discussed. Like you see here, this PQ, 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 these are the multiple examination questions that are being discussed under each specific chapter. And these multiple examination questions are actually covering these topics. So the way what I do is that I've actually splitted this APM syllabus into multiple topics. I repeat, I've split it the APM syllabus into the multiple topics. And what I have done is that the way I do is that I usually conduct one live class every week. And in that one live class, I discuss on the basis of the planner that I've shared to the student, the the topic that I would have shared with you people in the planner. I would be discussing that topic in the class. I would be going through that topic in the class, and I would be taking you people through that specific topic. So that is the approach that I adopt. That is the strategy that I have in order to deal with this whole scenario. So basically, if I could just give you a bit of a guidance about, guys, the way we are gonna be going through this APM course. So let me give you a bit of a guidance. First of all, you will have access to the pre-recorded lecture. You will have access to the pre-recorded lectures. In addition to the pre-recorded lectures, there's going to be one live class each week, plus around 10 assignments to be submitted. I repeat, there are going to be 10 assignments that need to be submitted. And when we talk about the 10 assignments that need to be submitted, so this is, to me, going to be the key for the APM, because a lot of students, they fail because they don't know how to write down the answer. And when they don't know how to write down the answer, that's where they fail as a student. So I think the most important thing is that you would be talking about those 10 assignments, and those 10 assignments are going to be checked, are going to be marked by myself, and I shall be providing individual feedback to each one of you, that what have you done right, what have you done wrong. And I am sure that this feedback is what is ultimately going you towards the passing of the paper. There's something that's going to take you towards the passing of the paper. Okay, now let me know in case if any one of you have got any questions. Yeah, one more thing. You would have probably seen in here, we are presently running a 50% discount. So the course fee is actually USD 150, and we're offering a 50% off, which is probably going to end today. So it was valid till the 27th of December. Probably we could extend it for you people for another day. So you can actually get access to this specific course for USD 75. That is something that could happen in case if you would wish to register for the course now. So that is actually a brief introduction about the course. For all the students, I shall be sharing a planner, inshallah, by Wednesday, in which I'll be giving the topics that you got to cover up in every single class, and the schedule of the live classes also that are going to be followed, so that you people do have an idea that what to study, how to study, and when to study. So that you do have an idea what to study, how to study, and when to study. So let me know in case if any one of you have got any questions, any issues, any problems that you would like to discuss, so that I can answer. Yeah, anyone having any questions, please? Yeah, anyone having any questions, please? Yes. Okay. Now,
Sir,
one more thing. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
sir, classes, sorry, the classes would occur on a Chroma technology or in this manner.
Okay, we have worked out the solution to it. So the live
Okay,
sessions would be on the Chroma technology.
okay, inshallah.
Well, it's generally by default a 3-month access that's provided to you. But in case if you need access till June, so what you could do is that you could talk to our team, and our team can actually facilitate you with that. Your name is, I'm sorry, Wusi. Wusi, you could actually talk to our team and our team could actually facilitate. Okay, guys, anyone else? Anyone else having any other questions, please? Yeah, anyone?
Same, sir, class timing and days, no clash.
Same. I mean, like the class timings are going to be at, I mean, like after 8 p.m. Pakistan time. And the days I would try to actually keep this APM class over the weekend. That is what my preference is going to be. That's what I'll do. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys, for attending. See you, inshallah, in the next class, where we shall be taking through the first topic. And inshallah, I mean, like you'll be informed about the topic in advance so that you could actually be prepared for it. So thank you very much, all of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for attending the session. It was great to have you all here.